So this is the simple example of programming structure. So see here, in a programs, our program will starts with preprocessor directives, that is hash include, and after that in open and close bracket we are putting IO stream. That IO stream is nothing but the header file, or it is also called as input output file. So that IO stream, that file is used for cout and cin function. So just like in a C language, we are using stdio.h, that is standard input output file. So that stdio.h file is used for the printf and scanf function. So similarly in C++, that iostream.h, that file is used for cout and cin function. So the working of cout function is similar to printf function, and working of cin function is similar to scanf function. So this is the simple programming structure. So see here, after that we are writing using namespace std. So that namespace will indicates or it identifies scope to the operator std. We are going to write this line only when we are going to program on Ubuntu operating system or online C++ compile. But when we are going to use Turbo C++, there is no need to write this line using namespace std. Now this is the main function, and inside the main function what we have to execute, that line of code we are returning here. So see here, C out less than sign, double quote C plus plus is better than C. So already we are discussing that the working of C out object is similar to printf function in C language. So whatever maybe we written out in C out inside double quote, that line is going to print. After that we are written here return 0. So we are define here integer main. So that integer function is going to return the value. If I write here void, so we know that void is not return anything. So if I return here void, then there is no need to write return here. So I declare here integer type. So integer type always return the value, and that double slash line is called as the comment line. So in C++, to represent comment line, we can use either double slash or slash star slash. This is the comment line. In a C, to represent a comment line, we are using only this type. But in C++, we can use either double slash. So in the next slide, we are seeing the output operator. So we know that less than sign is nothing but our output operator. And previous to that less than sign, cout is there. So that cout should be called as a object. So that less than sign is called as a output operator, or it is also called as insertion or put operator. Why it is called as insertion operator? Because whatever may be that we are going to return after the less than sign in a double quote, that complete line is going to print, means we are inserting data in between that double quote after less than sign. So that's why it is called as a insertion operator. And cout is used for printing the contents. So whatever maybe we read in a cout, that is used for the printing purpose, and the working of cout, it is similar to the printf function in C language. After that we will see the input operator. So cin is called as the input operator, and that cin, after cin we are showing here the greater than sign, two greater than sign. So that two greater than sign should be called as the input operator, and cin should be called as the object. That input operator should be called as a extraction or get operator. Why it is called as the extraction operator? Because the working of cin is similar to scanf function. So we know that this scanf function is used to read the content of a particular variable, or it will extract the value of that particular variable. So in a similar case, that cin object is used to extract the value of that particular variable. So that's why it is called as the extraction or get operator. So in a previous lecture, we have already seen that in a C language, when we are calling the scanf function, we consider that our variable type is integer. At that time, that integer type should be indicated by %d. If our variable type is float type, so at that time it should be represented by %f. And if our variable type is a character, so it should be represented by %c. But in a C++, there is no need to represent like that %d, %f or %t, because that cin object will automatically understand what kind of variable that we are defining. If integer type variable is there, if float type variable is there, or character type variable is there, so that cin will automatically understand. So there is no need to define %d, %f or %c. So this is the advantages of C++, because we do not have to define the type of variable, because that object cin will automatically understand it. Now the cin operator is used to read the value. So similarly, the working of cin object is similar to scanf function in C language, because that scanf is used to read or extract the content of that particular variable. So similar working of that cin object. So, and it is similar to scanf function in C. Now the next point is cascading of input output operator. So when we write a program, so every time we are going to declare some variable and we are going to read the value of that variable. So see here, so instead of using that input output repeatedly, we can simply we can say that we can return the lines in a single line. So see here, for cout, if I declare two variables, that is variable a and variable b. So see here, so we can write the lines like that: cout insert first number, and in second line cout insert second number. But after cascading, these two lines can be merged into a single one, just like that: cout insert first number, double less than sign, again insert second number. So this is the cascading of input output operator. Now there are two lines of code. One is the number of lines which are present in a code, that number of lines are going to reduce. So the cascading is used to reduce the line of code. Now for similarly for cin greater than a, cin greater than b, means in cin function we are going to read the value of variable a and variable b. But after cascading, we are read the value in a single line like that: cin greater than sign a, greater than sign b. So to understand this, we will see one simple example. So I will show you. So we will see the simple example: addition of two numbers and average of two numbers. Just wait for 1 minute. Online C++ compiler. So see here, I am going to delete this line. Okay. Now nothing is present here. Only we are declaring the main function, and which have the integer type. Now I declare two variables. That is integer a comma b. Okay. After that, I declare another variable that is called as a sum, because we are going to take the sum of two variables. So I declare another variable that is called as a sum. If I want to take the average, so the average will consist of either decimal point also there when we are going to calculate the average. So to consider the decimal point, so I will declare here float type of variable, that is average. Clear? Now I am going to read the value of two variables. So first of all, see out, insert first number. So insert first number. Now here I will put endl. So that endl is nothing but our manipulator that is used to move our cursor to the next line. And the working of endl is similar to slash n. Now again I will use cout function, cout, insert second number, then again I will use endl. So the cursor again move to the next line. Then I will read the value of the two variables, that is C in A and C in B. So I am declaring here two variables, that is integer A and integer B. Now I want to calculate the sum. So for sum I am declaring
सर
some variable. Hello?
तिथं सेमिकोलॉन राहिलाय सर इन्सर्ट सेकंड नंबरच्या पुढे.
बरोबर. So for sum I am already declaring some variable, that is sum equals to A plus B, and then I will take the average equal to sum, sorry, sum divided by, I will take 2 because two numbers that we are declared. So again write down cout here, cout sum equals to sum and ended. Similarly, cout average equals to, for average we are declaring variable avg and again endl, and we are declaring here integer type, so we are going to return the value, that is return 0 semicolon. Now we will run this program. So they are saying that insert first number, insert second number. So first number is our 10, second number is 20. So see what is the output. Sum is 30 and average is 15. 10 plus 20, that is 30, and 30 divided by 2, that is 15, is average is there. So see here the output. So in this program, the line of code is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 9 line that we are written here. Okay, but now when I cascade, cascade means these two lines I am going to combine here. So after combining it, simply I put this complete code here. So automatically one line is going to reduce, greater than D. Semicolon should be there. Now sum equal to A plus B, average equal to sum divided by 2. And here again I am write this complete line.
सर स्क्रीन दिसत नाही सर.
दिसत नाही का? एकच मिनिट. Is it visible now?
Yes.
हाँ सर.
Okay. Now I am execute this code. So see here. So when I am cascading everything, so line of code is reduced to 1, 2, 6. So our so see here, insert first number, insert second number, we are entering the value 10, 20, we will get same result. So the cascading of input output operator, it means, so it will say that instead of using input output operator repeatedly, if we are going to merge it, so there is no any effect on our output, so that our code will work in a similar case before cascading. So the cascading is used for reduce the number of lines. So is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
Now the next point is nothing but the token in C++. So what is the token? So token is nothing but the smallest individual unit in a program. So there are 5 types of tokens, that is keywords, identifier, constant, string and operators. So that keywords, identifier, constant, string and operator should be called as a tokens. So we will see in a today's lecture keyword, identifier and constant, and in next lecture we will see string, operator and another type that is called as a typecasting. So see here, first of all, what is keywords? So keyword is nothing but the, or it is explicitly called as a reserved identifier, and it cannot be used as a name for program variable or other user defined program elements. So keywords are nothing but the reserved identifiers. So their names are already defined in that particular language. So just like integer. So for integer we are going to use int. So for floating type number we are going to use float. If go to statements are there, so for that go to statements we are going to use go to. While do while is there, so for that we are going to use while. So all these are nothing but the keywords. We are going to take here only certain names. So the number of keywords are there that already reserved, and we are not going to use the name of that keyword as a variable name. कधी तुम्ही सी मध्ये जर समजा प्रोग्राम केला तर इंटिजर व्हेरिएबल जे आहे त्या इंटिजर व्हेरिएबलचं नेम कधी तुम्ही इंटिजर किंवा फ्लोट असं डिफाईन केलं आहे का? इंटिजर ए जसं आपण डिफाईन करतोय, जसं जस्ट लाईक वी आर डिफाइनिंग इंटिजर ए असं डिफाईन करतो आपण, इंटिजर ए कॉमा इंटिजर बी, बरोबर? कधी आपण असं डिफाईन केलंय का इंटिजर फ्लोट और इंटिजर व्हाईल? कधी बघितलंय का असं डिफाईन करताना इंटिजर
नाही.
फ्लोट, इंटिजर? नाही. सो because that integer, float, go to, while, if, break, that are nothing but our reserved keywords, and their value that we are not going to use as a name in a program variable. म्हणजे प्रोग्राम मध्ये जे काही आपण व्हेरिएबल डिफाईन करतोय तर त्या व्हेरिएबलचं नाव आपण कीवर्डच्या नावाने कधीच देत नाही, ठीक आहे? और simply it can be said that it is a user defined program element. So that integer, float are nothing but the already user defined program elements, so their values are reserved. So that's why it is called as a reserved identifier. Now keyword has predefined meaning which cannot be changed. So already we know that keywords have some predefined meaning. So if we used integer, that is in keyword, so that int have some predefined meaning. So the meaning is like that it will take only integer numbers. That is, it will, if I define integer a or integer b, so the value of integer a or b should be either 2 or 3 or minus 2 or minus 3. The value should be like that: 2, 3, minus 2, minus 3. The value should not be like that: 2.0 or 3.0. So if point is there, so for that point we are defining float type of keywords. So already whatever may be the keywords we have, that all keywords have already predefined meaning. So for example, जर समजा मी integer number घेतला, predefined meaning, and that meaning should not be changed. So these are nothing but the keywords. So once again I am repeating, keywords is also called as a reserved identifier, and the value of keywords that we are not going to use as a program variable in our program, or it is also called as user defined program element. Now second point will say that keyword has some predefined meaning which cannot be changed. So already I told you what is the predefined meaning. So this is about the keywords. So the next point is nothing but the identifier. So identifier refers the name of variables. It will refer the name of function. It will refer the name of array. It will refer the name of classes and etc. So whenever we are going to see our class functions type, so at that time we are going to explain in details identifier. So just keep in mind, identifier is used to refer the name of variable, function, array, classes and etc. Number of things are there. So as the name indicates, identifier, so that identifier is going to identify. तो आयडेंटिफाय काय करेल, जसं याचं नाव काय, आयडेंटिफायर. So as the name indicates identifier, so it is going to identify. So what is going to identify? It is going to identify the name of the variable, name of the function. It is going to identify the array. It is going to identify the classes. So there are certain rules for identifier. So what are the rules? So there are four basic rules for that identifier, and the rule number one is, in an identifier only alphabetic character, digits and underscores are permitted. So this is the first point. Either lowercase letter or uppercase letter, these are nothing but the uppercase character. So that alphabetic characters are allowed in a identifier. Then digits 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that 0 to 9 digits are allowed again. After that, from a special character, only underscore is permitted. So if we are denoting at the rate or we are returning here at the rate, so that at the rate is not the identifier. Okay. So first rule will says that in an identifier only alphabetic character, digit and underscores are permitted. So this is the first rule. Now second rule. So second rule will say that the name of the identifier cannot starts with digit. Even though digits are allowed, even though digits are allowed in an identifier, but second rule will says that the name of that identifier should not be starts with digit. Now third point, uppercase and lowercase letter are distinct. Means जर समजा मी एक नाव जर समजा अप्पर केस लेटरने जर समजा डिनोट केलं आहे आणि सेम नाव जर समजा मी लोअर केस लेटरने डिनोट केलं आहे, so that both the names are distinct. Okay. After that, keywords cannot be used as a variable name. So in a previous slide मध्ये आपण already in a previous slide we have already seen that keywords are nothing but the reserved identifier and the name of keywords that we cannot use as a name of program variables. So in a similar way, keywords cannot be used as a variable name. So these are the four rules. So once again, I am repeating that four rules. Only alphabetic character, digit and underscore is permitted for the name of the identifier. Now second rule will says that the name cannot be starts with digit. even though digits are permitted in the name of identifier, but that name should not be starts with digit. After that, if uppercase letter and lowercase letters are there, so that uppercase letter and lowercase letter are distinct, means both are different, and keywords cannot be used as a variable name. So for that we are going to see one simple example. So that example is, see here, array, array, array. So in a first name we are defining capital A and remaining letters are small. Now in a second name we are defining all the letters are lowercase letters, and in a third name we are defining all the letters are uppercase letters. Even though names are same, but lowercase letter and uppercase letters are distinct. So that's why these three names, even though their meaning and their spellings are same, but we are separating, or we are using here uppercase and lowercase combination. So that's why it will become the three different identifier. As our third rule will say that uppercase and lowercase letters are distinct. So because of that, even though their letters are same, their spelling is same, but because of uppercase and lowercase combination, it will become the three different identifiers. Here some of the examples of not identifier. So the first name is sum. So that sum is identifier or not identifier. I am asking something.
Identifier.
So sum is identifier. Now second one, n at the rate underscore, whether it is identifier or not identifier.
Not identifier.
Why it is not identifier?
At the rate are present. It is not a identifier. At the rate.
Because here at the rate is present, and that special character at the rate is not allowed in the name of identifier. Only underscore is permitted. Other than underscore, if any special character is there, so that will not a identifier. Now this is, again it will be not
Not
identifier
Not identifier.
because at the rate is present. Now this one,
Not identifier.
this one, underscore su, it is identifier or not identifier?
Right.
Identifier or not identifier?
Not identifier.
Why?
Uh, Before the yes bar.
Before the yes, underscore should be present.
Yes.
Okay. Now read the rules properly. What rules should be says that?
Are permitted. Yes, sir. It is identifier.
Second rule will say that if the name of the identifier should be starts with digit, then and then it will become the not identifier. If the name of the identifier is starts with underscore, so it is acceptable. So that's why it is nothing but the identifier. Now this one, su underscore n, So it is also a identifier. Understand or not? It is also identifier. Now this one, 123 AD,
Not identifier.
not
Not
identifier,
identified.
because our second rule will say that identifier name should not be starts with digit. Okay, is it clear? So once again I am repeating,
Yes, sir.
identifier is used to identify the name of the variable, it is used to identify name of the function, it is used to identify name of the array, it is used to identify name of the classes and etc. Means number of things are there. And the rules for the identifier is, the first rule will says that only alphabetic character, digit and underscore are permitted in the name of identifier. Second rule will says that name cannot be starts with digit. So even though first rule will says that the digits are allowed in the name of the identifier, but name of the identifier cannot starts with digit. Now third rule will say that in a same if uppercase and lowercase letters are present, so that uppercase and lowercase letters are different here. So for that we are seeing the example of this one. So see this example, array. So even though spelling is same, okay, so even though spelling is same, but we are using here uppercase and lowercase combination, so that's why it will become the three different identifiers. And the last point will say that keyword cannot be used as a variable name. So this point that we are already seen in a previous slide, because the keyword's name that we cannot be used as a name for program variable. So that's why that keyword's name cannot be used as a variable name. Now the last point, that is a constant. So the constant should be represented by keyword that is const, const. So if I want to declare the value of any variable, so and that value should be the constant one. So I declare just like that, const a, const a. So if I declare the const a, or it can be declared like that, a equals to, we are going to give something, some value that is 10, or we are going to give some value that is 20. So I am declaring here the value of a as a 20. So the value of a as a 20 should be the constant throughout our program. So that constant token should be represented by a keyword that is constant. Once again I'm telling you, the const should be, the constant should be, and the constant refers to a fixed value. It means that one value is not going to change throughout the program. So its value does not change during the execution of program. So once we are assigned the value to a particular variable, that value should not going to change during the execution of program. So there are certain type of constants which are present in C and C++ language. So that constant should be a literal constant. So some literal constant that we are going to that some literal constant that are going to support our C and C++ language. So what kind of literal constant that we have? So the literal constant means, so first of all we will see what kind of literal constant we have. So that is the integer constant are there, character constant are there, floating point numbers are there, strings are there. So that are nothing but the literal constant. And literal constant means a constant which does not have memory location. The constant which does not have memory location, that constant should be called as a literal constant. So see here, example 123. 123 is nothing but our decimal integer constant. Now 12.34. So if point is there, so that point will represent, it is a floating point number. So it is called as a floating point integer constant. 037 is nothing but our octal integer constant, because we are going to represent the number 0 to 8 in a uh, 0 to 7 in a octal representation. So 037 is nothing but our octal integer constant. Now 0x2, if x should be present in between two numbers, so automatically that number will become the hexadecimal number. So that 0x2 will become the hexadecimal integer constant. Now C++ should, we are going to return in a double quote, so that's why it will become string constant. And capital A, that capital A we are written here single quote, so it will become a character constant. So see here, we know that C++ is nothing but the combination of characters. The combination of characters, so by combining the number of characters together, we are going to form a string. Is it clear? If single letter is there, that single letter should be called as a character. But we are going to combine the number of characters together, so that combination should be called as a string. So here C++ is nothing but the combination of more than two characters. That is, in C++ three characters are present, that is C plus and plus. So that number of characters are combined together, and that number of characters, if we are written in a double quote, so it will become a string. So any string that we are written in a program, that string should be represented in a double quote. And in a C language, if you are going to see here, if we are declaring a character, so that character should be written in a single quote. So that capital A, and it is written in a single quote, so it is nothing but the character constant. So see here, once again I am repeating you. So constant is should be uh, so that constant. So for constant, we are going to use const as a keyword, and the value of constant should be the fixed throughout the program. Means once we are assigning certain value to a particular variable, that value is not going to change throughout the programs. So during the execution of program, the value should not be changed. Our C and C++ location. So if such constants are there, so that constant should be called as a literal constant. So these are the examples of some constant. So 123 is nothing but our decimal integer constant 12.34. So this is a decimal representation. Sorry, this is a point representation. So that is called as a floating point integer constant 037. So we know that in an octal number, our number should be represented from 0 to 7. So it is an octal integer constant, 0 hex 2. So if hex should be present between two numbers, so that number should be called as a hexadecimal number. After that, C++. So that C++ is nothing but the combination of our characters, and that C++ should be written in a string. So any string is there, that string we are going to written in a double quote, and if in a double quote, if anything should be present, so it will become a string. So that's why it is nothing but the string constant. And if any character that we are written in a single quote, so it will become a character constant. So in today's lecture, we are going to cover the portion that is cascading of input output operator. So how cascading is used. So for that, I am showing you some program that is a addition of two numbers and average of two numbers. Now we are going to see token in C++. So what are the different tokens that we are going to see in C++? The tokens are nothing but keywords, identifier, constant, string, and operator. And what is the meaning of token?
Sir,
Token
screen is not visible.
screen visible नाही का? Just 1 minute. I think screen is visible to everyone.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
तुम्हाला काहीतरी इश्यू झाला असेल तुमच्या मोबाईल मध्ये किंवा रेंज गेली असेल. So next point is nothing but our token in C++. So what kind of different tokens are there? So that tokens are keywords, identifier, constant, string and operator. And the meaning of token is it is nothing but the smallest individual unit in a program. So after that we have seen the keywords. So keywords is called as a reserved identifier, and the name of the keyword should not be changed, and name of the keyword cannot be used as a program variable name, or simply we can say that it is a user defined program element. After that we have seen a second point in a keyword. So keyword has already some predefined meaning, and the meaning of that keyword cannot be changed. So the example of keywords are integer, float, goto, while, if, break. So these are certain examples of keywords. After that we have seen identifiers. So as the name indicates, identifier, so it is going to identify something. So what it going to identify? It is going to identify name of the variable, name of the function, name of the array, name of the classes, and etc. So there are certain rules for identifiers, and that rules are in a name of the identifier only alphabetic character, digits and underscores are permitted. Now second rule will say that name of the identifier cannot be starts with digit. Third rule will say that uppercase letter and lowercase letters are distinct here. And fourth rule will say that keywords cannot be used as a variable name. So for that we have seen some examples. So in our example we are taking that array example. Even though spelling is same, number of characters which are present here that are also same, but the combination of uppercase and lowercase letters are different, so that's why it will become the three different identifiers. And last point that we have seen, that is a constant. So that token constant, for that we are going to use const as a keyword, and that constant refers to the fixed value. Means if we assign a value to a particular variable, so the value of that variable is not going to change throughout the program. So during the execution of program, its value is not going to change. Our C and C++ language support some literal constant, and the example of literal constants are integer, character, floating point number, strings and so on. so the literal the literal constant are the constant which do not have any memory locations. So the constant not having any memory location, that constant should be called as a literal constant, and these are example of constant that we have seen. So in tomorrow's lecture, in the next lecture, we will cover string, operator and typecasting. So we will see what we are going to left here. So namespace, that we have seen, identifier. After that we have seen constant, that we have seen, identifier we have seen, keywords we have seen. So in the next lecture, we are going to see string, operators, typecasting, and in and last lecture we are going to cover enum and control structure. So again, two more lecture that we are going to require to finish this unit. So I am going slowly because to understand all basic things, so first of all we are going to spend much more times on the basic things. If all the things are clear to you, so then we will move. सर्व गोष्टी एकदा बेसिक so again one more lecture we are going to spend and we will finish this. So up till now what we will covered, so it is clear to all of you or not?
Yes, sir.
आतापर्यंत जेवढं काही
Yes,
बेसिक
sir.
बेसिक गोष्टी आपण त्या क्लिअर झाल्यात ना?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
हा
sir.
सर.
ओके. हा, बोला की. तुम्हाला काही डाऊट असेल तर बोला. अटेंडन्स. आजची डेट किती आहे? 16 आहे ना?
16.
16.
16 6. So tell me present roll number.
31.
ऋषिकेश किती आहे नंबर?
31.
31. Now the next one is Nikhil,
23.
23. Now Prashant,
22.
22. I will stop recording first of all.